Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I'm Beau Oliver, joined today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back to preview Westworld Season 3, Episode 3. I'm not sure of the title. Actually, can you look up the title? And then tell me it, and then we'll edit it, so I just say the title right away.
Movie magic right there. The Absence of Field.
The way they built their world. It won't take much to bring it all crashing down.
The Absence of Field. Well, that's an interesting title. I'm sure we're going to get into that in the review, but right now we're just previewing the episode, and these preview trailers, HBO always does a pretty good job of not spoiling anything, but giving us a general sense of what's going to happen in the next episode. And in the first couple of shots, we have Dolores, and it looks like she was taken to the hospital by Caleb, and of course she's fighting back.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of hospital or kind of makeshift hospital. Maybe he went to one of his connections he has in the underground society of this world.
That's going to be important, I think, for Dolores, using that Rico app, because all the criminals are connected. The world is so interconnected, and so is the underworld, and that benefits Dolores too, if she can find a way to manipulate Caleb. But she's scrapping, of course.
I think it's going to be something where it's like, oh, what's wrong? Like, she's not a human. What's going on? That's when she wakes up and then tries to
one of those where the needle's not working.
Yeah.
None of the equipment works.
It's like, Caleb, come look at this. Who is this guy anyway?
They forgive her for killing random guy.
Yeah.
Whoever that guy is.
Yeah, it looks like she scalpels him right in the neck.
But you made some good points in the theory video about Rehoboam, about how that relationship is going to develop in the coming episodes. Kind of how they're going to use each other. They're going to gain from each other.
The next little still in the trailer, they're talking on some sort of pier, it looks like, and this is probably where they start their kind of relationship, getting to understand what Dolores wants and using Caleb and kind of getting an idea of this world that he is in. Because right now, up until this point, I just assume she's been hanging out with the elites, people in the corporate world with the insight, like the party she was at to, and dealing with those type of people. So the introduction of Caleb gives her another perspective on humanity.
And these conversations with Charlotte Hill, we're going to get more Tessa Thompson. And she might be the most famous actress in the show currently. When she first started, it feels like she blew up after that first season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't want to waste her talents. And what they're going for here is pretty interesting. We don't know what pearl she put inside of that body. We have the shot where it looks like Dolores is making a new Charlotte Hale body. And obviously, she killed the real Charlotte Hale in season 2, but she has to play this role. Once again, it's a host being told by another host, you have to play a role so that we can, I don't know, gather some sort of information. Because obviously, that corporation, Delos, has connections with Insight, and that's the end game.
It's definitely going to be a weird situation for whatever host this is, Clementine or...
Clementine was pretty fucked up the last time we saw her, too.
Yeah, well, they all pretty much got fucking...
Yeah, Clementine was the worst. I remember she was abused.
A zombie.
Yeah. Charlotte Hale was the one who used her to make all the hosts go crazy.
Well, the hosts now that we have in the real world, they're all kind of... Bernard's a little bit shaky with who he is right now, with if Dolores has tampered with any of his code, or if he's not really sure of what's been happening to him, but he understands the nature of his reality, I guess. Same with Maeve, same with Dolores. But for these other hosts, not only do they have to adapt with this information that they're getting, that there is a real world out there, and then add that with you have to pretend to be this person in this real world who has an established life. It's a lot at once.
And we already saw some pushback in episode 1 when Charlotte Hale goes to the board meeting and they're deciding what to do in the aftermath of the Delos attack. And William is still not there, and he's obviously somebody of influence on this board. He owns most of the company. So we're going to see her kind of, I guess, deal with more of that corporate influence at Delos, the different board members, and maybe we're going to be introduced to new powerful players.
I wonder how this episode is going to be structured. It seems some of it might be the Dolores awakening this version of Charlotte Hale and showing her the ropes. And then I think it might cut to 3 months later where we see Charlotte in the corporate meetings where she's already kind of established.
Right, yeah.
So it might go back and forth between that.
It's going to start at the escape and then take that 3-month jump. And yeah, it's important too that Dolores has those allies. She replaced the character of Martin in the last episode. I mean, in episode 1. So I think we're going to see that host come back as well. So it's a game of espionage here.
Yeah, and you see her looking at this sort of giant robot type thing. And we see in the trailer for season 3 as a whole that they kind of use this as part of their uprising.
Right, yeah, Dolores makes that point in the first episode when she breaks into that man's house, that the whole world is designed with things like her, like hosts. So these robots, the blue-collar robots that work construction, or even the robots that are kind of like servants for these corporate executives, maybe they are going to be hacked by Dolores, or maybe there's some consciousness brewing there. You never know. Well, that one shot of Charlotte is interesting because it's like Bernard checking his system to make sure it hasn't been hacked when she's looking at her wrist. So, yeah, it's that existential crisis that William went through in season 2, even as a human. The hosts are going through it now as well.
This episode looks like it's going to get a little dark, too.
Well, with her child.
Yeah. That's fucking freaky.
Yeah.
Imagine your mom just coming home and you could tell something's off, but you see her, that's her. I've grown up with this woman, but there's little mannerisms and things like that. Something might just seem off to this poor kid.
Yeah, for all the big philosophical ideas that they give us, it's always cool when they do stuff like this. It's the relationship between a parent and a child, that connection. You wonder if he's going to be able to tell that something's off.
Yeah.
And seeing it through his eyes, it's going to be a bit heartbreaking that he slowly realizes that this isn't my mother. My real mother was killed in a brutal way. So yeah, it's tough. They play with that, the relationship that Arnold had with his child and the obsession that had led him with Dolores.
And you also got to wonder if the Charlotte host's character gains a connection with this child, and maybe she starts to look at it as her own.
Yeah, we've seen that with Maeve as well. It's play a role. This is your child, and look at Maeve. She was 1 foot out the door in season 1, but she went back for that kid that technically wasn't hers, but she cared for her for 10 years. It's going to be interesting to see the way that they play with all these different relationships and roles. Dolores needs to run a tight ship. She's not in an easy position.
Yeah, but the episode does seem very Charlotte-centric. So first episode, obviously very Dolores and Caleb-centric. Bernard has been in both of them so far, 1 and 2, but episode 2 is more Maeve. So looks like Charlotte might be the focal point of this episode. And a little bit Dolores, a little bit of Bernard, maybe a little Maeve and Sarek.
And you wonder if we're going to get William, because when William's identity is first kind of revealed in season 1, it's through the conversation he has with Charlotte Hale, where she's looking for his vote to push out Robert Ford. So you would think that he would be a human being that could spot the differences in her behavior and tell. I mean, he's had so much experience with the hosts. So you wonder when he's going to come back in the fold. It's only 8 episodes. This is episode 3 already. I think they're saving him a bit. Ed Harris has kind of become like the Hopkins now, He's the old and distinguished actor. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it looks like a dark episode, and what they're going with, how they're having Tessa Thompson lead it, that makes me happy. And I think we're both looking forward to episode 3.
And obviously there's going to be a few surprises in there. So maybe we do get a William. Maybe we get some more information on the Rehoboam. I saw a few theories that maybe Sarek is a host. I think I'm kind of over the host reveals, but if they do it right, I think it could be a nice little surprise.
Nothing with this show surprises me.
No, everything.
For other people, maybe, but I've guessed every single reveal ever.
Oh, that is true. Yep.
Hey guys, thank you for watching this video, and of course we would like to thank our Patreon supporters. Without you guys, Nerd Soup wouldn't be Nerd Soup. Seriously, your support is what keeps the fridge full, so thank you once again for your support. If you are interested in supporting Nerd Soup through Patreon, visit our page and check out the different rewards we offer to our fans. If not, then no problem. We appreciate anyone who takes time from their day to watch our videos. So thank you to each and every one of you out there watching, and remember to like and share this video. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like it. Or don't.